Joe Ray once again here at Mount Sac, the famous college. We're going to visit with an alumni. There's a lowrider exhibit here, which I'm going to give everybody a tour of, but I'm not going to be the host of this. Well-known pinstriper, Philip Rincon, Philip's Fine Lines, does more than just drop lines, gold leafing and all that, and you're going to see a lot of his creations here. He dabbles with spray guns too, as he custom paints all over the place. If they're not on the boulevard, if they're not at the shows, his artwork's at a museum. So we're going to interview him, and then you'll get a chance to meet the guy. He's an alumni, like I said, has a lot to say. You see his name up on the wall. This is Philip Fine Lines, but he just doesn't do just fine lines. And we're going to see what he has showcased for us today. Philip, say hello to everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello. I came to Mount San Antonio College to actually learn, expand on my skills, and came here for welding and sheet metal fabrication. They have an excellent automotive fabrication program here, so did that off and on for a couple years, intertwining with my apprenticeship with Danny. And I actually did a lot of this stroller right here at the school. It's a 1937 tailor-taught stroller. Didn't look like this in 1937. Every aspect of the stroller is modified, not just from paint. I'm talking about the fabrication standpoint as well. If you know what they look like originally, 1937 freight train stroller, everything's been smoothed out, shaved down, typically traditional lowrider style shaved down, all the holes sealed up, shaped, everything. Some parts are completely fabricated from scratch. Lower pan has louvers from the factory. I just said, screw it, let's make a whole brand new one from scratch. I whitened it for more canvas for my pinstriping and candy paint and Murano pebble base. Every piece of this has been modified.
How much time did it take to complete this job?
That's a common question I get. I did this for a good buddy of mine, Jay. And he told me a year in advance, so I chipped away at it off and on throughout the year. And as it neared the deadline, I put in heavy hours. It's hard to explain. Even if you get under here, even the insides patterns run through. Have lettering on there, my logo. Just every piece of this has been modified.
So you came here to this college to learn a trade, and you started off at welding, even though you had the talent. Work with Danny D. How long ago was that when you came to school here?
It was towards the tail end of my apprenticeship with Danny D. 2013 to 2014, so about 10 years ago, man, and implemented it into what I do. I use the skills to this day. I'll shave door handles for a customer, mold hoods and trunks, and lightweight fabrication, occasionally in between the metal flake and pinstriping. So
you take some accessories off door handles and off to give you more room to do your artwork.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's smoothing it out to make room for what lowriders are known for, which is a custom candy metal flake paint and pinstriping. So all this I shaved down specifically to make room for more pinstriping, more art. All this is sealed up. Traditionally, there's a bunch of holes there. This is actually 100% fabricated from scratch.
Wow.
So I would say this is similar to if Boyd Coddington or Chip Booth made a lowrider stroller, or knew how to get that flavor where it's just 100 mods on here. You won't know what they are unless you know a stroller. So a lot of pride, a lot of hours into this, man. And like I said, noticed but not seen, right?
Right.
So that's how you know you did the mods right.
Well, we do definitely notice this two-wheeled lowrider. Tell us the work behind all of this.
Yeah, this is for a repeat customer of mine. It was a stock black Harley, and I took it and gave it the candy metal flake treatment. Everything paint-wise on this I did, from candy metal flake, subtle pearls. I used the factory black was so clean. It was made it easier for both me and the customer time-wise to use it as a base. So I did candy pink and purple fades on top of the factory black to contrast with the candy metal flake to make it all jive together. We didn't have to pull the motor out to paint the frame. I was able to save a lot of time and, quite frankly, headache for both me and the customer by utilizing the factory black paint. So we actually I painted this, I think 2019, 2020, and we remixed the fender specifically for this show. He had it extended, and you know, it didn't jive with the extended bags. Used to stop here, so we had it extended. I was able to match it damn near perfect to the original paint job, and he had me add some hand lettering here. Message sent to his kids, which he just loves so much. You know, family and low riding, right?
Right.
So it's a little dedication to his kids.
Family and lowriding, the praying hands. Beautiful artwork here.
Yeah.
Tell us about the praying hands.
Praying hands. I got a love for tattoo artwork as well, all artwork, but this is kind of a nod to my love for. I gave it a pinstripe lowrider version of hand tattoos. I decided this says here, which is what it is for our art, tools of the trade. Tools of the trade referring to the hands, which everything we do here with lowriding is hands-on, and these are our tools, our two hands. And so traditional script tattoo writing, which I actually take a lot of inspiration from script handwriting and implement it into my pinstriping, which you see all the time. So
There's one of your favorite tools right there.
yeah, those are some of the tools of the trade right there, man. Little nicer than the ones than the ones I use every day, but got two sides to it, two different things. For the exhibit, this was on a turntable, so.
So with the many paint jobs you have done, and especially with this spray gun, it's like the paint just came out of the gun. You got a paint job on the spray gun itself.
Yeah.
What kind of gun is that, so everybody knows?
It's a cheapie. Well, it's probably not a cheapie no more. It's a $10 throwaway Harbor Freight gun. I actually use these for to shoot my flake. I used to drill out the. I couldn't afford an Awada when I first started, so I used to get these on special from Harbor Freight. Drill out the tip, grind down the needle, and shoot whatever size flake I needed to out of it, and throw it away when I was done. $10 disposable flake gun. Little free game for all the other painters out there starting. Okay. Well, what we got here is the next canvas. Before I get into this, let me just kind of preface the premise for all the art pieces here. This wasn't a lowrider show. This is an art gallery exhibit, and I'm one of 20 artists that was featured here. So some of you may be wondering why I really didn't make a push on it on my social media. It was, I knew the audience for this. A lot of them had never, this is 100% new to a lot of the students and attendees here at the gallery. So a lot of the premise for my artwork and canvases here is educational for lowriding. We'll go through it, and this right here, this canvas is 1970s era, at least the components, 1970s era liftgate hydraulic setup. Most of these components you'd find on lowriders of the 70s, right, Joe? This probably looks familiar to you.
Yeah, but mine was kind of like black.
Yeah.
Full of oil all the time.
Yeah, I don't think they had paint jobs like this necessarily. When I decided to build one, I had a couple hydraulic friends of mine tell me, we could trick it out, we could machine blocks and stuff. And I said, no, we're gonna leave it in its 70s era form. There's not really modifications on this. It's all OG stuff that's just been gone through triple chrome treatment, candy metal flake treatment. I busted out some gold Murano pearl for the base here. Some nice curves on there to catch the glow of the gold Murano. Belly band Prestolite motors off of liftgate trucks of the 70s. And then we got the faucet slowdowns and dump valves, all aircraft liftgate OG. Nothing on here is brand new store bought. It's all actually OG surplus liftgate and aircraft hydraulic parts that have got the lowrider treatment. It was built by a good friend of mine, Stephen Ruano. His dad, rest in peace, Sixto Ruano, OG hydraulic guy in the game back in the day, and got him involved and made it as a tribute to his father, man. And got a little article here, like I said, going back to the education of what it is on just describing the history of hydraulics and where this setup falls in place in the history. I believe hydraulics date back to the 50s, maybe 60s in custom cars. And so, yeah.
Unlimited creativity. Yeah, I remember the black pumps back in the days.
Yeah.
Full of oil.
Yeah. These used to hang
always
off the side
breaking
of the...
down. Yeah, and now look at you come back some 40, 50 years later, and there they are, and they're painted better than some of the paint jobs we even had back then.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. How much lowriding has grown, but artists and their creations continue to raise the bar, and that's what it is. That's the difference, the love and the passion. Tell us about this little character here.
This is actually a toy that has a big cult following in Japan. They're called Bearbricks, made by Medicom, Japan toy. I decided to give something a little new. Actually, this is probably one of the ones that most of the students recognized, more so than the hydraulics and some of the other canvases here. These are huge in Japan, and this almost didn't make it to the art gallery. I was down to the wire with the art pieces for the gallery, and I sat in my office. It was almost done. I had candy metal flake was done, buffed out by Lux, my good friend Lux, and it was sitting masked up for this final color here. And I was sitting in my office the day before the show, and I said, man, this has to make it there, man, because if it doesn't make it there, it's just not going to hit right on an Instagram post. I want the kids to see this. And I did, hung it up, shot some custom mix base, heavy gold Murano pearl, and strategically used satin clear because I knew I didn't have time to buff out if I were to do a high gloss clear. So brought it in, hand pinstripe the edges with one shot paint right here at the gallery, right here where it's sitting. And I think they said that this room smelled like one shot paint for a couple days, but you know what, it made it here, and I'm glad it did because it got a really good response.
What does that little character go for? to purchase?
To my knowledge, there's different limited edition series they do with artists. I believe, several artists. Banksy did the series. Actually, Cartoon did Mr. Cartoon from the Lowrider world did a series as well. So there are a bunch of limited edition ones. I just was able to get my hands on one for a good enough price, and it just didn't look like this when I got it. So.
And the masterpiece behind you on a Lincoln Continental, Mark V.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know if you know too much about Mark V, but if you don't know, this is anyone who knows a Mark V. This is the trunk off of it. This was the first piece I started when I was when I decided to do this gallery back in April, and I had 3 months to get these canvases done, and right off the bat, I was out of state for a month. So I started on this in April, just chipped away at it, and in true lowrider painter fashion, was just down to the wire on it, and was able to get it done, man. To my satisfaction, real happy with it. Even got the trim re-chromed here. Did a heavy metal flake on it, along with Murano Pearl pebble base with candy overlays on that. Heavily pinstripe, a lot of details in the tape shades that you don't notice initially.
Because that's something else. So I can just imagine it on a Mark V.
Yeah.
You picked the right one.
Yeah. It actually, I picked it for its nice hump. I think it shows well as far as our paint jobs hit in the light, and there's so many nice angles on this, and we angled it just right to where you get most of it. There's a lot of artwork here you don't even see, but yeah, heavy metal flake and a lot of Murano Pearl.
It's the imaginary Continental kit on Lincolns.
Yeah. Utilize my
Very,
skills.
very nice.
Utilize my skills here from the school. All shaved down, smoothed out, shaved emblems, shaved lights.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you do custom painting, flakes, candies, pearls. You know your colors. We all know that. Pinstriping.
This is closest of all the canvases to what I do on a daily basis, probably. So.
And then when it comes to lettering, Philip?
Yeah, hand lettering. I wanted a little bit of everything for the show. Give the students a nice taste of what we do. These were initially designed to be in each corner of the room, and once we started filling in the space, I just wanted to have the exact same stripe design on each one and have them in the corner kind of as a background decoration piece. And once I saw how big they were, we decided to change it up and do some hand lettering. The curator said, man, all four of them need to go on the same wall. And I spent some time thinking of what lettering to put, and wanted to make it specifically for the students, but to be able to use it after the gallery as well. So instead of
These are words you live by, right?
Yeah. I let's see what the name of the art piece is called State of Mind. So these are, as car guys, man, as artists, as businessmen, as students striving to achieve. I think these were the words I came up.
Go ahead, the first one.
Ambition, and then we have purpose. Why are we doing this? Is it just for the money? Is it to leave a legacy after we're gone from here? You got passion. I think at least in my trade, it shows. I could look at a paint job and tell how much passion was put into it, or not. vision. I mean, I think every car builder, from when it starts as a rusty project, we have that vision in our head of what it's going to be like when it's all said and done. So I called it state of mind, man. These are, in my opinion, gears we need in our transmission to succeed. So, and then just the canvas I used. I got my hands on some OG crushed glass from back in the day. My first time ever using it. Pretty difficult to work with, at least from my first experience. Had to hammer the clear on to bury it, and then we did countless coats of Brandywine paint, Brandywine candy over that. And so I was able to get in. One of the things I wanted to do was it's not even my forte, is I wanted some biscuit tuck, wrinkle pleat, velour upholstery here to show the kids. This is, I mean, you know more than me, Joe, right?
Yeah.
What is this reminiscent of? Some of the interiors back?
I just, the big question is, I know that everybody's interiors now are about leather and fiberglass and custom paint, but the elegance, the craftsmanship back then, especially coming from Henry, the square biscuits, it just, even the wrinkled rolls around it, just framing that. I don't think this could ever go away. I think we have to adapt a little bit or include something else, whether it's fiberglass paint or something. For me, you could look at any leather seat out there you want to look at today in the best built interiors, but you can't argue with the look.
Yeah, I was able to get Henry from Henry's Custom Upholstery out of retirement for this one. He still does upholstery, but no one's really doing these days.
Somebody will come out with this again and use it differently or in a different style.
Yeah.
And I think everybody will go back to that, because the colors, you could get all of these velours and velvets and hundreds of colors where leather, unless you have a custom made leather color, you can come out with something. But I mean, the colors are unlimited when it comes to velour.
Yeah,
I'm always going to be in love with this. I think this is still the best fabric to use for any interior.
Oh yeah, man, and we tried to capture the vibrance of the fabric, and when you bring it out in the sun, man, the vibrance of the velour that Henry used rivals the vibrance of the Brandywine candy. And when I got with Henry, I told him, man, I actually had a piece of the legendary Mr. Bob & Sons upholstery hanging on my wall. I said, man, I want it as close to that as we could get, and I couldn't think of anyone else that could do it that's still around today, and he was with it, man. And so this is reminiscent of a old school Bob & Son interiors, Mr. Bob, that I grew up admiring, and we were able to pay homage to the old school lowrider interiors. I would say, what, Joe, pre-2000?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's when the hot rod interior started coming in with the...
Well, the Vans did a lot of velvet and velour back then also, and the lowriders were notorious for that.
Yeah.
It's been going on since the late 60s. Got to bring it back. Somebody has put it out there again, and everybody will jump on it. It'll be another trend again, but we'll see.
I think there's room for a comeback, man.
Well, I do.
If it's done right, maybe a little remix on it, and the quality's there, and it's part of the tradition of lowriding.
There you go, everybody. So you have vision, passion, purpose,
And
ambition. Those 4 words get you to this masterpiece. This is beautiful. I thought the Lincoln trunk was something else, but if you love blue, I mean, there's a lot of blues in here.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know how many different blues are in here, but it's between this and this hood and the Lincoln trunk, it's kind of a pick your poison. This is more of a subtle. I used a mini flake on this one.
It's not that subtle when you get close up. There is a lot of work. From far away, maybe not until you get closer.
Yeah.
61.
It's off a 61 Impala, and this is actually, this car, I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but this is actually, the whole car is painted this right now, and I was able to see it's getting built by my partners at CNC Customs in Anaheim. The car's almost finished, man. It's we're rounding third with it, so the entire car has this paint job on it, and so I was able to use the hood for this. And 61 Chevy Impala, a lot of pearls, a lot of subtle fades. Did some nice flake striping on it to tie the pearl panels into the flake panels. Might be a little subtle at first glance, but it's just as intricate as the Lincoln truck. Just more subtle tones.
Philip, a quick question here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very respectful when it comes to old school. And I know your paint, you have a lot of modern visions. You know your colors, your design. Fine line, to me, is more about detail. When you call yourself Philip Fine Lines, but your artwork, I mean, you learn from the best. I know Danny's out there, but over the years, you've studied a lot of other old school artists too.
Yeah. Actually, Philip's Fine Lines, when I left Danny, I wanted to do just pinstriping. I didn't want to do paint, but the demand for it just pulled me back into it. So I had no intentions of doing custom paint, but here I am, you know. I'm known for the Fine Lines is a nod to the intricacy of my pinstriping, which to me, lowriding will always be rooted in the foundation that certain artists laid for us, such as Danny, Walt Prey, and then getting into the custom paint, Mario Gomez, Big Ed, the D'Albas. To me, they laid the foundation for which we can make subtle yet progressive deviations from, but it'll always go back to candy metal flake, pearls, fine line pinstriping, all freehand, hand done. I've been approached by car wrap companies to design car wraps, and it's just I won't do it, man. There's to me, lowriding and lowrider paint jobs specifically, it's just as much as we try to be innovative with it. It's I think one part innovation, one part tradition it's rooted in. So we'll always go back to the foundation the legends laid for us.
And Larry Watson, Carter Propane,
Bill Carter.
Yeah, Steve Stamford, all those guys. I mean, their artwork just continues. Some of them never die. I mean, their artwork continues with artists like you, and you take it to another level. Those were all the students back then, if you will. And sometimes they became the teachers, and they taught other students like yourself. And then one day you become the teacher, and you just keep on going with those 4 words, exactly what they had to live by. And their artwork just continues, and you have it here, and it's very well detailed. You took a piece from everybody. Of course, you added your own mix in there, and it's beautiful. And then there's a lot of students out there that are going to follow you now from here on out. And this is what it's all about. That's one thing about lowriding and competition. And when they talk about the best paint jobs, I know there's some hot rods out there. There's some beautiful paint jobs, especially when you go to SEMA or even the Riddler Awards, some of those paint jobs. But come on, there's unlimited sacrifice in doing a piece like this. I'm sure they can't wait to get their hood back to finish this car.
Yeah.
I can imagine what the rest of it looks like. Yeah. But I mean, Philip, thank you for continuing it, man. And it does deserve, and it's great with all the cars that are at the car shows today and all the competition and the big trophies. And I know there's no more magazines or anything like that. To be in a museum for yourself, man, that's going a long way, man. You hit it out of the park. Just having your name here at a place just like this, alumni, back to school, came in here to learn how to do welding, and you have your own exhibit 10 years later. And this is just the beginning because you're young and you got a long ways to go. And the paint world continues to change. You adapt to it, but you still spray out your talents. And I mean, who knows from this day to day what the next 10 years are going to be for you.
I wanted to represent for lowriding. Like I said, there was 20 other artists here. This was not a lowrider show. So I think when you're a lowrider, just inherently by choosing to be a lowrider, you're representing the whole culture, whether you like it or not. So when we mess up, you mess up for the whole culture, and when you do good and represent, you're repping for the whole culture, not just yourself.
And you just don't paint them. You also drive them.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now?
Oh man, I'm actually, it's masked up, ready to flake out as soon as I get time. Hopefully this week I'm ready to flake out a 72 Boattail Riviera that I've been working on forever. So stay tuned for that. We'll see, chipping away at it in my free time. I also got a 65 convertible Impala Super Sport, just as a daily. 520s, OG wire hubcaps. We're getting ready to lift that as well. So that's
Beautiful Thunderbird I saw you sporting around in.
Yeah, that one I got rid of to get the 65, but the 65 is nice enough to take out on a Sunday, go to breakfast by the beach maybe, and just cruise home and top down. And once you get used to a convertible, man, I don't think there's no turning back, man. So that one's a keeper as well. That will be next in line after the Rivi, but we got to get that Rivi done, right, Joe?
Yeah, we do. As long as it doesn't look like anything, that trunk lid behind me will be fine.
Yeah.
All right, Philip, thanks for having us here. Your own exhibit, Philip Fine Lines, Philip Rincon, alumni.